Hello and welcome to the Josh and Jayden Podcast with the Euros preview. Today we'll go through many things to do with the Euros, our predictions and our thoughts, with the top scorer, the best player of the tournament and the team of the tournament. It'll be a pretty interesting video with the Euros predictions. Jayden, what are you thinking of all this?
I think this is terrific. We've compiled a list of who we think will win a bunch of major categories. As Josh said, we've got player of the tournament, young player of the tournament, breakout star, top goal scorer, top assister, top goalkeeper, and then a team of the tournament, including our bench. And we've also going to go through our brackets, where we will predict all the groups, the best third place teams, the knockouts, and eventually a winner of Euro 2020/Euro 2021.
Oh, good. You feeling pretty hyped about all this? Getting ready to watch
Yes, I'm very excited because I'm actually, despite being from Australia, I'm a big fan of Germany and European football in general. So I'm a Bayern Munich fan. So a lot of the boys play for Germany. So it'll be great to watch them go out and battle for their country and hopefully they can get a win. You're obviously a Man United fan, so I guess you're supporting England, I'd assume.
I'm actually not supporting England in this.
Okay.
Which I guess would be a surprise. North Macedonia, it's coming home, boys.
Heritage.
North Macedonia. But being realistic, I think they'll come fourth in that group. Unfortunately. Spoiler alert.
They've got Brian Hand, but that's about it. It's not 2010. Not playing for in Milan.
Past that, I want Portugal to win.
Yep.
My favourite player, Bruno Fernandes, playing for Portugal.
Yes, Bruno Fernandes, a very great player, one of the best cams in the world. Look out for a future video where we will discuss who is the best cam in the world.
De Bruyne.
No, it's Muller. Trust me.
Exactly. Coming up in a future video. All right. Without further ado, we'll just get into the boring stuff, the background of all this. Obviously, this is the 2020 Euros taking place in 2021 after a delay of 12 months. The tournament has 24 teams entered in it.
Yep.
And interestingly, it's the first Euros to feature VAR.
That'll be a big talking point. Look for, obviously, with how long VAR can take and if some decisions maybe get overturned, look for fans to not be happy if things go against their way, especially if it goes against England, because that's just how it works. And as well for Timo Werner if he's offside, because he might be, but we'll see.
Be interesting to see if it takes out of the enjoyment of the game for some fans, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into our brackets. Josh will start us off with his bracket quickly on who he thinks will win the Euros.
All right, let's get straight into it.
Who have you got in Group A, Josh?
For Group A, the first decision I'll make that I feel is an easy one for me, Italy going top. I feel like this will be a largely dominated prediction. Just a very, I guess, aging team. And obviously, stars coming up like Moise Kean.
Yep.
That I've seen quite a bit of. Donnarumma moved to PSG. And with veterans like Chiellini, a legend of the game, as viewed by some. I just think that Italy will be a powerhouse in this group, and we might have an upset, but that's what I feel like that will be there.
Yep.
In second, I feel that Switzerland will take out this one. Players like Shaqiri, Saka. In third place.
Third then, yeah.
Turkey, then Wales.
Yep.
So with Turkey, this is one that not many people will know about. Players like Under, he might be a player that many people know about. Plays on the right wing. Can't remember which team he plays for, but yeah. Oh, yes, Soyuncu too. I forgot about him for Leicester, centre back. So these two spots might be the debating point for many people. Well, I think first and fourth were easy to pick for me, with Wales not really being as good as they used to be. Bale, Ramsey, James, players that I know about, but I just don't think they're.
Can't forget what.
Now we'll move on to Group B.
Yeah.
First one, easy to make. Belgium, highest ranked team at the moment. Not too much to say about Belgium. I guess De Bruyne, star player, contender for top scorer. It could be Lukaku. Personally, I do not like Lukaku from his Manchester United career.
What do you think, though, Josh, about Belgium being the number one ranked team in the world? Personally, I feel that you got to give it to the reigning World Cup winners. I think France should be. What do you think of that?
I think that Belgium could be considered to have the best talent of players.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel that France, since they've won more, and Portugal, we'll see later in the video with our predictions. I think, spoiler alert, I think Belgium will not go as far as them two.
Yeah.
Just because of what France and Portugal have been through, the leaders on the pitch. Not denying the talent that Belgium have. I just think that they're an aging side, and they are a good side, and they will top this group quite easily, I believe. Second in the group, an easier decision will probably be Finland. I don't know anything about Finland, to be honest. I think I was going to go second with Finland. Yeah. So bottom of the group, Finland for me. Don't really know anything about that. Denmark and Russia.
Okay, interesting.
Not too much to say about those teams. I don't really know much about that. Group C is an interesting one. I think the top.
North Macedonia for top.
Yeah. Put them in there. Number one. No. Realistically, North Macedonia haven't got a chance in winning it. But, if they could get third, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. We'll see with North Macedonia. Come on. Let's do it, lads. Let's do it. But first two could be debated. Austria versus Netherlands. Big blow for Netherlands. Van Dijk's not fit for this, and he won't be in it. But I still think they'll come top of the group here.
Yeah. They've got talent everywhere. Gini Wijnaldum just moved to Paris Saint-Germain. Terrific young player. Not really young.
Memphis Depay. I think that Netherlands, with the talent that they've got, just named there, like De Ligt. I forgot to name De Ligt.
Very good young.
One of the best young centre backs in the world. Donny van der Beek, a big blow for Man United fans, not playing much all season, and for the Euros being out of it with an injury, I believe. Yeah, big blow for that one. And second, if I put Netherlands first, obviously I'll put Austria second. David Alaba comes to mind. Do you know too much about Austria?
David Alaba is the most known player, but currently I believe their best player would probably be Rasenballspor Leipzig's Marcel Sabitzer. He's a terrific player.
Oh, yeah, RB Leipzig, the striker. Yeah, I remember him.
No, he's a central midfielder, box to box. He's a terrific. Yeah, Marcel Sabitzer, terrific. You're thinking of Josef Poulsen.
Yeah, him. I know him. I forgot. Yeah, I remember them playing. Yeah, they're both good players.
Sabitzer, I think he's honestly one of the best central midfielders in the world. He's a terrific player.
In the world?
Yeah,
Damn.
he's. I'm not saying he's as good as, say, a Kante or a Joshua Kimmich, but he's.
But,
he's
in the
just-
class players level,
he's world class, sure.
world class.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
I would say I disagree with that, but I don't know a hell of a lot about him.
All right, Group D.
Group D. So
They're coming
obviously
home.
England first,
Yeah,
but I don't
I
think
disagree.
they'll get too far in it, in my opinion. Coming up against Portugal, I think. If Portugal come second in their group, or France, I believe that's happened. Second, Croatia. The World Cup finalists that lost in the final to France. Modric. These two teams. We see the England team. They've got world-class players everywhere. Very, very good team. Just looking at the players, like you would think that they would be in contenders for the winners. It's all up to the coaching and just how they perform on the days.
Just quickly, Josh, what do you think about how missing out on having Trent in the team, how that will affect them?
Well, I mean, they're pretty stacked on the right-hand side anyway. But affecting the team, obviously, that's a big downside. Not having the attacking threat on the side. But players like Kyle Walker and Trippier, they could make up for that. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the team?
You'd have to check. I'm actually not quite sure. I was actually thinking that. I don't recall, but yeah, maybe. I know they've got a lot of players at right back.
Yet to make his England.
Yeah, I didn't think he was. I just wondered if with Trent being pulled.
It looks like he is.
Oh, he is?
Oh, not.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
So, yeah, chose quite attacking right backs and stacked in that regard. But yeah, England top, Croatia second, clearly, I believe.
Yeah.
These two are interesting, Scotland and Czech Republic. Don't know too much about Czech Republic, but Scotland I do know about. Robertson, McTominay. I think that this will be different for many people, but Scotland third, Czech fourth. Disagree. All right, we'll go a bit faster with these ones, so it doesn't take forever to get through all of them. Spain top.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. Sweden or Poland?
Yeah, there's no Zlatan for Sweden. I think that's a big
Yeah, that's a confirmed. Poland versus Sweden. This is interesting. I actually think Sweden will come in second.
Okay.
Agree.
Yeah,
This is the talking point here. To replace Zlatan in striker. Can't remember exactly who it was.
Alexander Isak from Real Sociedad.
I think he broke Zlatan's record in something.
Youngest goalscorer, I think, yeah. Something like that.
With Poland, obviously, players like Lewandowski, your second favourite player. Contender for top goal scorer, you could say, if they get, out of the group stage and into the knockout rounds. If they had a better team, obviously Poland would be more of a contenders. Now, the interesting group. The group of death. Now, the easiest one here, Hungary. They are going to be in a very bad position. Portugal, France, and Germany. I think if you actually put like any of these teams in like these groups, they'd probably top the groups. Probably apart from Belgium and England, maybe, or maybe Spain. But pretty much every group, these would be contenders for top 2, and they're all in Group F. So, the top 3. If you asked me a few days ago, I'd probably say Germany in 3rd, due to the fact that I feel like there's not as good as they used to be. But looking at their team,
players back though, Josh. Thomas Muller been in outstanding form for club, and Mats Hummels, one of the premier centre backs in the Bundesliga and the world. They're key.
What do you think of their loss to North Macedonia?
They didn't have Muller and Hummels. They didn't. With Muller in there, they probably win 4-1 and Hummels, or 4-0. I'll make it.
There you go.
Total different team dynamic. And just to quickly point out the interesting thing, as we know, Hansi Flick, the former sadly for me, is a huge Bayern fan, one of our honestly greatest ever managers. The guy did win the treble. He's now going to be managing Germany after Joachim Löw at this tournament. And they've already spoken about tactics that they will implement from Hansi in this tournament. So I'd expect them to play with a lot of Bayern players in that team. Obviously, they're well represented in the Germany squad. Be looking for them to play potentially a 4-2-3-1. Guys like Joshua Kimmich play a lot of time in CDM, although there have been rumours he might play right back. Obviously, he's versatile. And the attack to be spearheaded by Muller in a central attacking midfield role, with guys like Gnabry and Sane out wide providing some pace. But what do you think? Because this is the tough group, Josh.
So I think that in the groups, you've got to consider it's not just a knockout. So you've got to consider the team with the best squad and the best players that can rotate. All have very good squads. France has got to be number 1 for me. Probably the favourite for most people in this tournament. But I think, with the talent they've got and the backup they've got, France number 1. 2nd and 3rd are interesting. If you would have a team that you would predict to win the final, if there was just one game, I would say Portugal, with the experience and leadership that they've got in their team. Like, not saying that Germany doesn't have the same, but I think that Portugal, they have got very good players. Ronaldo, proven finals winner.
Arguably the GOAT.
The GOAT, the greatest. I'm going to go with something that's quite interesting. And I don't know. I feel like emotionally, I don't like the choice I'm about to make, but it's interesting. It's a prediction.
Ooh. Now, if you scroll down, then I've got to now beg the question: in such a talented group, are Portugal going to bring up enough points to be one of the 4 best third-place teams?
Interesting with what I've done there. We'll see what happens with the rest of the tournament. So I'll go with that. Let's have a look at these groups. Turkey, Ukraine, no. Scotland. Russia. I think Russia. just based on like the worst two teams in each group. I was just, yeah, not too much to say about that one. Let's get to Portugal. This will be interesting now. It'll probably be one of the weirdest predictions you'll ever see when you get to the final. Be interesting. So here we are. Belgium, easy for me. Poland versus Belgium. Poland just doesn't have the team to be able to do that. Italy versus Austria.
You got to say
you could go either way, but you got to say Italy. Yeah.
I think this one's pretty
easy. Nothing to say about that. Croatia, Sweden. FIFA. Ooh, this will be an interesting game. The World Cup replay. Spain. This one right here.
I reckon they're going home.
Ooh. Where is it played at? Wembley. Germany versus England. See, if I put Portugal as second in mine, it'd be England versus Portugal, which I think Portugal would win. In this one, it's interesting. Very interesting. I think with players like Werner up front, that, they won't.
Won't happen.
Interesting. Played at Wembley. I'm actually surprised. I thought England weren't going to do as well, but that's if I put Portugal in there. Might disagree, might not. I think you will disagree. With this one, easy. This one.
Yeah.
This is probably the most interesting one out of all of them because I don't know too much about these two teams. And I feel like they're similar quality. I'm not sure if you agree or disagree or something.
No, I'd 100% agree. You got two teams that both would be, I'd say they'd both be happy to be able to say they got to a quarter final. These teams certainly aren't favourites or anything. I wouldn't even consider them most likely dark horses. They both have decent squads, decent players, but yeah, who do you think? I can sort of pick them.
Remembering now, I do know that Eriksson, Schmeichel do play for Denmark. Switzerland have, I think it's got to be Denmark.
Yeah.
Just looking at those players there. I haven't seen much of Switzerland from a winning perspective into these ones. All right, so that one, sorry. England, Spain. I think it's got to be England for that one. Although you could say Spain. Spain do have a very good team.
Yeah, team.
Belgium. So now these are interesting semi-finals. We don't have a team in here that's like
overpowered, over the top.
Yeah, like one of those underdogs. Like you don't have underdogs in this one. These are probably
like Wales, or I think they made the semi last year. Yeah.
So for this, like you probably got the top 4 teams in the world, apart from Germany. They're probably in their team too. So for this one, Belgium, you could say have the better quality, but France are very much a favourite to win this, and I think Belgium still need more time to blend together and get winning success. So France on that one. And England. Wembley again. I just feel Portugal, if they will get to the knockout rounds. I think by each game they'll win the game. So I think England versus Portugal. Portugal's got that one.
So we got a replay of 2016.
Interesting.
I don't think they have Eder this time to come bail them out though. So who are you picking?
France versus Portugal in Wembley. France are the favourite. Portugal are an interesting team. France have more depth. Portugal have more winning players. Portugal to win.
Back.
There we go. See, now this is interesting because I picked Portugal to win the whole tournament, but I put them third in the group stage.
It's what they won from last time.
Did they do that last time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to be going through my predictions for the groups. I'll try and be relatively, concise, give good meanings. Mine's already probably, I might have to reorder them, we'll see. I've got Italy on top, Group A, best team. Donnarumma, Candreva, Chiellini, Bonucci, Immobile, too much talent. Turkey second, that's where me and you differ. And then Switzerland and Wales, I think the two clear to me worst teams in that group. Most of my predictions for this part of the groups will be fairly straightforward. I'd say fairly common. I've got Belgium winning the group, Russia second. The second most talent, Belgium by far though. You're talking the likes of De Bruyne, Lukaku, Yuri Tielemans, a terrific young player. Hazard hasn't been good in his tenure at Real Madrid, but he's a terrific player.
We'll see if he can revive his career with this tournament.
Looking to go back to Chelsea, potentially Denmark, Finland. All right, so Group C though, I've got the Netherlands, Gini Wijnaldum and co. They're just too strong. I've got Austria, big fan of Marcel Sabitzer and David Alaba, terrific players. Really big fan, as we said before, of Marcel Sabitzer. I think he'll be there, possibly even the best player in the whole group. With Van Dijk being out, I might have to look though. He might not be. Then I've got Ukraine, North Macedonia. Now I'll see if I have to reorder, but this Group D is correct as how I would have them. I've got England going top. Harry Kane, Jadon Sancho, the likes of just Phil Foden, Mason Mount. Yeah, they're very talented. How far they'll go will be tough. The final, I believe, as we said before, is in Wembley, so that's going to be interesting. Just make sure that will it come home? You don't know. Croatia, Rakitic, Modric, too much class, and Czech Republic, Scotland. I don't think they'll have much to say in this tournament. They'll be bowing out relatively early in the groups or, round of 16.
Just on Czech Republic and Scotland.
Yep.
I'd like to hear your opinion about them too, why you ordered them the way you did. Because obviously we differed in opinion in that regard.
Czech Republic, I think, have got just a slightly better overall team. Just top to bottom. I think it's interchangeable. Do I go with the young West Ham lad, or do I go the left back from Liverpool? Andy Robertson's great. Hasn't really had a good year. His team, McTominay. It's either or. I don't know much about the Czech Republic. Group E, I've got Spain on top. I've got Poland in second, led by arguably the best player in the world on current form. Personally, I believe he probably is. In Robert Lewandowski, he's just phenomenal. As long as Poland are in the tournament, they'll be scoring goals. He obviously plays with an incredibly attacking team under Hansi Flick at Bayern Munich. That's allowed him to score 41 goals in, I believe, 28 Bundesliga games, which is 1.5 around that. He's got a ridiculous goals to game ratio this year. So not as good team, but he'll still bang in goals for fun. We've got Sweden, Alexander Isaac, Forsberg. They got some guys. They'll be all right. And Slovakia, not much to say. Just I think they'll be last. Now, this is where we differ a lot, Josh. I've got the group of death. Now, these are actually how I've ordered them. I'd like to get your take on having Germany go top.
I wouldn't say you're out of your mind. I'd just, you look at the two teams, Germany, France, they have got depth in their team. That is ultimately why they are in our top two. And some might say Portugal could be in the top two, but based on the depth that both teams have, yeah.
No, and I've got that exactly all that. Although I'll be genuinely honest, I think Portugal's as good as near on any team in this competition. I think you've probably got 3 of my semi-finalists are around the top 4 teams. If I had to say, it would be Germany, France, and Portugal. If either one of them won, I would not be shocked. And Hungary, Galashi might honestly save that many shots. I don't know, but yeah. All right, so now we'll be going into this part of it. I'm picking Portugal, a win and probably a draw, maybe even 2 draws. They are a really good team. They'll be solid defensively with Ruben Diaz, and up front, you've got Cristiano, as good as I think any player, possibly the best player to ever live. I'd argue he probably is. Just so dynamic in attack. And obviously Bruno Fernandes behind is a terrific player. Also got Sweden, not much to say there, Denmark and Switzerland. Now I will head through to the knockouts. So I'm going to go through some of these ones quite quick. I've got Belgium. I don't think Sweden will cause them much trouble. Italy, the same. Germany, yeah, they're just too good. This one, though, I'd like your take because I'm kind of thinking of maybe an upset, but I don't know if you'd consider Poland winning an upset.
Yeah, if you looked at my face, like when I seen these two teams, they are very good teams. With Poland, you got to take into account that their overall team isn't as good as Croatia's. Lewandowski, right. You could say is the best. Well, I think is actually the best striker in the world at the moment. I can agree with you on one thing.
I think he's in that game. Sure. Yeah, I think in that game he's by far the best player. Luka Modric dropped off a fair bit recently. He's getting older. I think I'm picking Poland. Now we get some mouth-watering clashes in a minute. Spain. Now, I don't know what you think about this. I think France. I think England are going home and around us.
If those two come up, you have to say France is going to win that one. Well, obviously, anything can happen in a game. England have got the talent to do it. But, yeah, France pull away in that fixture.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Portugal. Van Dijk's too big an injury, not having him in the squad. When you're dealing with guys like João Felix, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Diego Jota, too much. And I've got Turkey. Let's go Akraf. Right, back to the top. Oh, gosh. I got to go Belgium. They're just the better. I love Italy's defence. I've always been a huge fan of Chiellini and Bonucci. Chiellini's such a just good, tough tackling defender. Bonucci's always had a brilliant pass on him, brilliant long ball. I've got to go Belgium.
I thought that decision was, well, for me, easier to make than you made it out.
I think both are very good teams, but I have to say Belgium. Muller versus Lewandowski. And Miller's bringing Kimmich and a bunch of other players. Yeah, it's got to be Germany. They're too strong for Poland. This will surprise some people that I think this will be close. I am picking France, but Spain are a really good team. don't overlook Aymeric Laporte. Gerard Moreno, I think, will be in the squad. They've got some talent. Uzaya Bal, I can't really say his name, the young Sociedad winger.
Oh, yeah, him. Right back.
Yeah. Big player. They'll surprise, but they go France. Okay. Portugal, that makes it easy. And then this is what I was expecting. 3 teams from the group of death. I don't know how people are going to feel about this. I'm expecting Belgium to be a favourite. I think most people probably have Germany in the, I'd say, a lot of them saying semi-finals or early. I don't think many people think they'll go to the final. I'm picking Germany. And I don't know about, I'm going opposite to who you picked. I think France are too strong. I think they've got guys who play way better for country than for club. I'm looking at Paul Pogba and Corentin Tolisso in particular. Tolisso is not even a starter at Bayern Munich, and he gets in the French team and looks like a complete machine. And Pogba just plays out of this world for them alongside Kante, who's had a very good season. I've got to pick France. They're just stronger. And I looked up, they're not even taking Upamecano. That's how strong they are. Now, at risk of sounding biased, I'm picking Germany to go all the way. I've thought this for a long time. I just think with the additions of, I think they've been shaky. I think even if they don't win this, I think they've got a better chance probably even of winning the World Cup next year. Just because I think Hansi Flick knows how to get the best out of players. A lot of guys that are in that team. I'm going to go for the shock. I'm picking Germany to win.
To be honest, it was not too much of a shock for me.
Yeah, because
I thought your bias would shine too. even though it's not like, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a stupid prediction.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's not like I pick like, oh yeah, I'm from
Poland,
Hungary,
because Lewandowski is one of your favorite players.
Yeah, love Lewandowski, but he's not going to carry the whole team that much. All right, now for the interesting predictions, I'm going to build them up from the, I guess, lower level ones. We're going to start with breakout star of the tournament. Josh, who do you have?
Breakout star of the tournament. You talked about him earlier. I liked what you said. I think that Yuri Tillemans will be an interesting player to watch out for. You might say that he's already kind of broke out as a player for Leicester, winning them the FA Cup.
Terrific player, yeah.
Very good player.
But you're expecting this to be when it goes from that's Yuri Tillemans to he's like on the level of, those elite midfielders, like you talk about him in the same breath as a Kroos, a Modric, even a Kante, those type of guys. Is that what you're expecting?
Not yet from Yuri Tillemans.
Not yet. But a lot bigger.
I think eventually he will be talked about in that bracket.
Yep.
But at the moment, we'll see, like, a lot of people are starting to know about Tillemans. And just from this tournament, we'll see him in his true colours.
Yeah. Okay, now for my breakout star, I have a young German lad.
Of course.
Who I'm predicting to potentially get a big money move this summer. He's already been talked about a lot to Bayern Munich. Florian Neuhaus. I think he's 24 years old. So I didn't want to go for someone too young. And I also didn't want to go for a big name, big-ish name, because I thought there were some guys that I wouldn't think, say guys like a Bellingham or a Foden, I see them as that everyone knows that they're special talents. But I don't think people see that in Florian Neuhaus. I think he's he scored 6 goals this year, I think, off the wing in the Bundesliga for Mönchengladbach. But I think he's going to have a really nice tournament and piece together maybe a big transfer to Bayern Munich, potentially to the Prem. I think those will be his main options. Maybe a Chelsea, maybe a United come in for him if deal for Jadon Sancho falls through. All right, now, who do you have as your young player of the tournament? Because I've chopped and changed on this, and there's 3 guys I've thought of, and I've got it down to 1. I want to hear yours first. I reckon we'll have the same.
Young player of the tournament? Oh, I think
Yep.
we have the same. I'm not too sure. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
I have chosen Foden as young player of the tournament.
Okay.
Do we have the same in that?
I had Felipe Fodinho. Yeah. Would you like to go on why you have him? Because I'll just say quickly, my other 2 options, I was considering going Jude Bellingham because he's a lot younger. And the other one was Jamal Musiala. I decided against Bellingham mainly because it doesn't get talked about as much as Foden. I think Foden will start, Bellingham won't. And Musiala, as great a talent as he is, he's going to have the same problem he has at Bayern Munich, and that's that he plays central attacking midfield, and so does Thomas Muller. And I don't see him starting over Muller. And that's his main position. I also don't see him putting him out wide over a Sane or a Gnabry, or even, configuring it and taking Werner. I just see him as a bench guy, but I think he'll have a big tournament. So why do you have Phil Foden?
So Foden is a very hyped up player at the moment. Got all the way to the UCL final with Manchester City. Played alongside De Bruyne, who I think is the best centre attacking midfielder in the world.
Okay.
Foden, you watch him, he's class player. Young player of the tournament. Not too much to say. He's a class player.
Right. Now I'm going to recommend we move on to a top goalkeeper. Just quickly, I've got Manuel Neuer. I reckon
biases will shine through this one. I can already see.
I still think he's as good as any goalkeeper in the world, if not the best. I think the one who may be better than him is Jan Oblak. I just don't see, and honestly, probably Alisson. But one of them is not from Europe, and the other one I don't think's got much of a hope. I don't think his team's even in the tournament. So I think it's got to be Neuer. I can't think of anyone. I don't think it'll be like a pick with it as good as Donnarumma is. I think he'll probably be the second best GK. I just don't think he's at this point good enough to upset the guy who I think will go to the final and win it as captain. What about you?
No, I'm going to pick a player that you didn't mention there. Might be seen as biased. David De Gea.
He is a good player. I can't argue with that.
Very, very good goalkeeper. Has just come out of a good season for Man United. He's looking to do away with his last World Cup performance. As many would know, he did not perform very well, and that carried over to his Man United career. Just that period of time for him wasn't the best. Contended by Henderson at the moment, Man United. But the reason I think he'll be the best goalkeeper is just because he'll do away with the bad start he had in the World Cup. Yeah. We'll see how good of a goalkeeper he really is coming off the season that he's just had.
Fair enough. Okay. Next, we will go top assister. I want to hear your first.
Now, I was torn between 2, Bruno Fernandes and De Bruyne.
Yep.
And I came through with De Bruyne. I think due to the fact that Fernandes has played basically all season non-stop, overplayed as a Man United player. De Bruyne's been out for a while through injury.
Will he miss the start of the tournament? I think it's likely still that,
Yeah, I didn't think about that, actually. How much of the tournament? Just the start?
Yeah, maybe a game or 2.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with De Bruyne. If he recovers from the injury, I feel like, he's the focal point for Man City. Haven't watched too much of Belgium with him in it, but I think the same thing will happen. He'll be on the ball. He'll be spoon feeding Lukaku, who might get the top goal scorer, but I don't believe so.
Both terrific. All right, now top assister. I'm picking a guy from the team I think will win it. Josh already thinks this is totally biased. I'm going with this man is my favourite player. For those who don't know, I'm picking the guy who led Europe in assists twice in a row, Thomas Muller. He's an assist merchant. Now you could say, well, it helps the fact that he has Robert Lewandowski in front of him, just putting anything in the back of the net. I think his expected goals this year was like 28 or 29 in the league, and he scored 41. So, guy's very clinical. But I just think Muller's just class. I think the way he plays, what he does is possibly as unique a game as you get. I think his football IQ is off the chart, just the things he does in attack. And obviously defense, that doesn't count into it with assists as much, but the way he pressures, I think a bit reminiscent of maybe, obviously I wasn't watching much football back when Alan Shearer was playing, but I've heard a lot about teams being worried to attack from the back because Alan Shearer will pop up, get you on the counter-attack, and I see Muller's defensive presence, and I see that he's so creative. I think they'll get deep in the tournament. I'm picking him for my top assister.
Interesting.
Okay.
Did you have any other considerations when you made that decision?
Right up there was KDB. He's a phenomenal talent. And him and Bruno Fernandes. Bruno's another terrific player. I think all three of them are probably top 20, if not top 10 players in the world right now. I genuinely believe that. I think all of them, they're all slightly different. Muller's probably, I'd say, the smartest. I'd say maybe Bruno's the most physically gifted, and De Bruyne technically is sublime. He can put a ball anywhere. But yeah, I'd go with Muller top assister. Now, Josh, top goal scorer. Who you got?
Top goal scorer. I've got the GOAT in Cristiano Ronaldo.
I agree. How many goals?
How many goals?
Yeah.
7 probably.
Ooh, that's a
7
big tournament.
Number 7 for Ronaldo. Number 7 goals. I think Bruno Fernandes, being one of the best centre attacking midfielders in the world, he was in my contenders for top assister. Yeah, you did see from the practice match, the friendly match, he scored 2 goals and 1 assist. He could actually be in contender for the top goal scorer, but I feel that Ronaldo, the player that he is, probably got to be his last Euros.
Yeah.
So if you want to make history, win it again for him and be the top goal scorer.
Yeah, I've got no argument. I've got Ronaldo and Kylian Mbappe on 6 each. Although I did see last time they gave it to the guy with less minutes, I believe. Although I think because they tied on assists, I think that might be what it comes down to. So if I had to give it to one, I'll go Cristiano Ronaldo. But I've got him and Mbappe both on 6. I think Mbappe is just class, clinical. And Ronaldo, ageless wonder. He's just the one guy in football that I just can't bet against. That many times I've just thought, I remember the Atletico Madrid game when he's playing for Juve, just saying he'll score 3 goals and they'll win. Because I'd seen it with, I think, against Juve. I remember Wolfsburg, he'd done it. He just gets 3 goals and stops Atleti from who won 2-0 the first leg. That's what he just does time and time again. So I've got to pick him. Okay, so now we've gone through that. Player of the tournament.
Player of the tournament.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking at this player and now I'm unsure about it. I have put down De Bruyne as my player of the tournament.
Yep.
And I'm starting to have second thoughts about it.
Is that because he hasn't won in your bracket? Then you
Yes.
had Bellingham going to a
Yeah.
semi.
I definitely one of the best players in this tournament.
Certainly.
Has won the what's the thing called? The players vote for Premier League Player of the Season.
Oh, PFA Player of the Year back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's undeserved, but I feel that he definitely has a high contention for Player of the Tournament. Other players that I thought about were Bruno, but just after his long, hard season, I just felt like he's probably going through burnout and won't perform as well as he can. Rethinking De Bruyne. Rethinking. I actually think that this might surprise you, but I actually think that an interesting contender could be Paul Pogba. Just come after a good season for Man United, well, decent season, on the wing most of the time. With France, generally plays better with Kante, letting him express himself. Wanting to show himself off to the world, maybe get a move, maybe get more money from Man United. Paul Pogba will player to watch definitely in this tournament. So player of the tournament, I actually think Pogba.
Yeah. All right, now my player of the tournament.
Thomas Muller.
The risk of sounding biased. It's my man, Thomas Muller. It's between him and Joshua Kimmich. Joshua is a terrific player, my midfielder of the year last year, 2020, when Bayern won the treble. Although personally, I'd rather him get like defender, and Muller get like midfielder and Lever get attacker, and it'll be all good. That's between them two for me. I think if Germany win, which I predicted, they're going to play out of this world like they have all season. Kimmich's such a great assister, so I've got him coming second. But Muller, I'm predicting 3 goals, 5 assists, which is an interesting prediction because in World Cups, he's been phenomenal. He obviously won in 2014. I think he was the best player. He came second in the Golden Ball, 5 goals and 3 assists that tournament, I believe. Second top goal scorer. 2010, his maiden World Cup was at about, would have been 20 years old. He scored 5 and joined top goal scorer with Diego Forlan. He's never actually scored at a Euros though. Interesting stat. I'm predicting him to break that, score 3 times, assist 5 on the way to Germany winning. Now, I don't know if Josh has got this, but then I've compiled a team of the tournament. I'll quickly run through just to conclude the video.
We'll actually go through this a bit slower, go through like each position. Because I did mine a bit quickly. So I'd like to see your opinion and then just what I think. And I might change my mind through this. So do you want to start with the boring stuff, the defense, or?
Yep. All right. I'm going to start with GK. Manuel Neuer. And by the way, I'm running a 4-3-3 with the holding midfield because it's probably, I'd say, the most common formation with team of the years.
One holding midfielder.
One holding midfielder, yeah.
I have kind of like so I've got a center attacking, center mid, and a CDM. Well, yeah, center attacking mid. That kind of shape. Yeah. So I went with De Gea for my top goalkeeper, as we explained before. Definitely one of in the bracket of top 5 goalkeepers in the world, you could say. Yeah. With De Gea dropping off, many people don't rate him as much anymore. I still think De Gea, but we will definitely see.
Okay, back 4. I've got 2 Germans, Portugueseman, and 1 Frenchman. I've got Joshua Kimmich at right back. Mats Hummels is one of my centre backs, partnered with Ruben Diaz, and Lucas Hernandez is my left back.
Joshua Kimmich is probably one that could be debated with my right back. So my back four, Cancelo from Man City, Hummels, Diaz, and Luke Shaw.
That's a good shout. He's been arguably as good as any left back this season. Luke Shaw's been terrific.
This season, he has been the best left back in the world, in my opinion.
Yep. I'd call you biased, but I'm inclined to agree with you.
Interesting. So, well, just to make it easy, we will start with that left side. Hernandez, was it?
Yeah, Lucas Hernandez.
Lucas Hernandez, Frenchman, I remember. Definitely a very good player.
Plays for Bayern. He plays central and on the left. When Bayern have not had him rocked with the likes of Sula, Boateng and Alaba, the defense has been conceding goals. When they put him in, the numbers have like almost halved. I think it went from conceding once every 60 minutes to once every 120.
I thought of him as a more attacking fullback than a defensive.
You might be thinking of his brother, Teo Hernandez. Yeah. Plays for AC Milan, I think. Good young player as well, but the brother, I think Lucas is probably peaking now.
See, I probably thought these two players were the same person. Damn. Wait, so is he? Yeah, he's still friends. So obviously, because they're both brothers. Interesting. I'll have to research that a bit more. I thought they were the same person.
Yeah.
Next one, Diaz and Hummels. Obviously, both agree with that one. After the season that Diaz has had, deserved player of the season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, well, not revolutionised, but definitely solidified their back line and brought them to a Premier League, obviously.
Yeah, look, I've got no argument. Obviously, had Mats Hummels. He's been probably better since going back to Dortmund than he was at Bayern. Ruben Dias, I think, has been the best central defender in the world this year. He's a rock at the back. And I was thinking of putting Cancelo in my starting 11. I will say right now, I do have him on the bench. He's a terrific player, but I think it's because I think Kimmich will have a great tournament, and I've got other guys in the midfield I've just tried to fit in because I think they'll be thereabouts. Hearing Kimmich might be playing a bit at right back, I'll chuck him in. All right, now in our midfield. So got the three midfielders, the two central mids, and then the CDM. I'll start with the CDM. Right now, he might be the favourite to win the Ballon d'Or. Had a terrific few games in the Champions League. N'Golo Kante, a really good player. He should be probably top 10 Ballon d'Or by the end of the year. He's a great player. I've got him at the base of my midfield. In front of him, two offensive midfielders, so Kante really helped track him back. I've got Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne. Two of the best attacking midfielders going around. They're just sensational. Yeah. I don't know who you're at, but I'm assuming it's probably very similar to that.
Is very similar. Since I did go with the CDM centre mid and the centre attacking.
Yeah.
And I did say my two players of the tournament that I was thinking are De Bruyne and Pogba. So they are in those ones. And then Kante, obviously.
Yeah.
Kante has definitely had a dip in his career. He's definitely gone up since Leicester to Chelsea. Had a bit of a dip over the years. This year, a lot of people are appreciating him for what he is, one of the best players in the world. Paul Pogba, explained before, come after a good season. He hasn't played a whole lot of games, but he has played and performed very well. And De Bruyne, explained it before. Fernandes, reason I didn't put him in, played a lot of games. Yeah. the front three.
All right. Yeah. Front three. Yep. Okay. So I've got. I've got the guy who's a cam who can play on the right. I've got a striker who used to be a left winger, and I've got a guy who can play pretty much anywhere. So I went with on the left. I went with Kylian Mbappe. I think he'll be the joint top goal scorer with the man. I got a striker, CR7. Not much more I can say. It's Cristiano. He's a freak of nature. Now on the right, I've got the man I'm predicting to be player of the tournament in Thomas Muller. Come off one of his best seasons at Bayern Munich. Been stellar all year. I think he'll have a great tournament and slot right in there.
Interestingly, I have none of your chosen.
Wow. No Muller?
No more?
No, I'm joking. I'm more surprised. Say Cristiano top goal scorer, I believe. So where do you
I do think that is the one that kind of counters my player that I've put in.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised at who I've put on in the left. So I'll start with the right. I've put Jadon Sancho in.
Terrific player.
Hasn't had the best of seasons, but you can't deny he's one of, the best attacking players in the world. Up and coming, obviously. Should be at this team already, but we'll see what happens with that.
Bayern are linked to him as well, right?
Sorry?
Bayern have been linked to him.
Really?
We don't probably want to pay 67 million, let alone the 90 million. And you guys might get Kingsley Coman as well.
I don't believe that'll happen.
You don't want Coman?
I think that Rashford's got that position on lockdown.
Okay. He can play either wing. That's why I said he's more like a backup, because I think at this point Jadon Sancho is a better player than Kingsley Coman. Although he'll always have a special place in my heart because he scored the winning goal in the 2020 UCL final.
He did.
Who else do you have?
Striker, I have got Harry Kane. Interestingly, since I didn't have England in the final, so this may or may not be right, but Harry Kane, after the season he's had, top assister, top goal scorer, one of the best players in the world at the moment. Can't deny.
100% agree. Who's on the right?
Sorry?
Who's on the right?
Oh, the right was Sancho.
Okay.
The left is the interesting one that I think you'll go, On the left, Gnabry.
He's right up there for me. I nearly put him in my starting 11.
So this is interesting now. We've all differed with our choices, but you can see why we chose our picks here. Gnabry, I've seen him play for Bayern. He was a standout player. When I watched them, didn't do the best in the final from what I've seen, but the games that he played, standout player, one of the very world-class player. Mbappe is a very, very good contender to take him off his spot. But, that's what I picked.
What about, did you do a bench?
I did not do a bench.
For the viewers, I'll just run through a bench real quick. So I've got Gianluigi Donnarumma as my GK. I've gone with, because I thought he was in the team. I was shocked when I found out he wasn't. I was going to say Diogo Upamecano, but he's on the squad. So I've gone with Spain's new superstar centre-back, Aymeric Laporte. Terrific player. I've got João Cancelo. Then I've argued having Philip Foden in, I've decided to go Serge Gnabry.
Mm.
And then Florian Neuhaus. This one will shock you, I think. This is a guy I've been very big on since his days at Bayer Leverkusen. I don't know if you know who it is.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Currently plays for Chelsea.
Oh, that player. The goal scorer for the UCL final.
Correct. Kai Havertz, I'm hugely big on him. I think he's a guy that when he eventually, I'd say, moves to Bayern Munich, hopefully, I think he'll take over from Thomas Muller eventually. I just think he's world class. I know he's had a down year. He did score a hat-trick in the Carabao Cup, I believe. But it's the Carabao Cup. It's, Liverpool tend to play their under-12s team in that competition, so who cares? But I think he's world class. And my final substitute, I have gone with Romelu Lukaku. I just think he's a terrific player. Yeah, I got to put Lukaku in there.
He has had a brilliant season from what I've heard. I haven't really thought about him.
He's been there, but he's played phenomenal.
So, interesting. It's interesting to hear what you said about Kai Havertz and Thomas Muller.
What was that? Sorry about them.
Oh, did it cut out? I said it was pretty interesting what you said about Kai Havertz and Thomas Muller. Pretty interesting theory. I do think that what you've said could definitely happen. He is a class player. Yeah, Kai Havertz.
I just think he's got the talent. I know that just to clear this up, I do think the Premier League's the best league in the world, Josh. We've argued a lot. I believe the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, and they're all underrated by people who only watch the Premier League because they have this idea that, guys, they've seen a guy like Juan Sebastian Veron move to Man United. He was a machine in Serie A, and then he goes there and flops a bit, and they have this opinion. Like hearing Leo Messi, could he do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke? Well, I think he'd put 5 goals past Stoke, being brutally honest. But so I think that's one of the things people underrate those leagues. And with the Bundesliga, I think it's top 5 league. And the kid scored, I believe I looked up, he was 19.
Remember, it is about the Euros.
17 goals. He is the best player for Leverkusen. That to me says enough. Yeah, but that's. I just think he's a top talent. You don't score 17-goal league season as a 19-year-old and not in a top 5 league and not be a superstar. I think he's going to be one of the best players in the world in 5 years.
I have kind of overlooked Kai Havertz as a player. Just, for the fact that he's come from the Bundesliga, that I think is not, it's not.
I agree that it's not good for the brand.
I was going to say nowhere near, but not sure. That is a discussion for another day.
That will be discussed in most likely a much shorter video. Obviously, this is the first one we've attempted, so we'll see with editing what this gets down to, but expect much better content in the future.
Yeah. 100%.
Thank you everyone for watching. Ciao, Demi. Good work.
Ciao, people.